Welcome back to Reel 21, where I'm watching my way through the New York Times 100 Best Movies of the 21st Century, one film at a time in countdown order. I'm Nathan Chandler, and today we're at number 98 with Werner Herzog's Grizzly Man. Now, I wish I could do this full podcast episode in a Werner Herzog accent. If you don't know, just Google his name, and I'm sure some clip will pop up with his amazing accent and the way he narrates. I wish I was that talented to do that, but alas, here I am. Now, Herzog is one of those filmmakers whose reputation often precedes him. Even if you haven't seen many of his films, you've probably heard his voice, that calm, deliberate, unmistakable German accent that turns everything he narrates into a philosophical reflection. And that's exactly what makes Grizzly Man such a fascinating watch. The film centers on Timothy Treadwell, a self-proclaimed protector of Alaskan grizzly bears who spent 13 summers living among them. He filmed his encounters obsessively, portraying himself as both guardian and companion to the creatures he adored. Tragically, in 2003, Treadwell and his girlfriend, Amy Huguenard, were killed by one of the very bears he had dedicated his life to protecting. Herzog takes the hundreds of hours of footage Treadwell left behind and shapes it into something more than just a tragic curiosity. Through interviews, editing, and his own narration, Herzog transformed Treadwell's tapes into a meditation of humanity's fragile relationship with nature and the line between devotion and delusion. What struck me most this time is just how riveting Treadwell is on his camera. He's charismatic, sometimes manic, sometimes childlike, but always sincere. You can't look away. Without Herzog, his footage might have been forgotten, but Herzog brings a sense of awe and respect, both for Treadwell's passion and for the dangerous beauty of the wild. His narration doesn't overshadow the story, it elevates it, turning it into something almost mythic. What I loved most is how balanced it feels. Herzog clearly admires Treadwell's passion, but he also recognizes the madness in his mission. He allows us to see both the man who desperately wanted to educate the world about grizzlies and the man who underestimated the reality of that wilderness. That duality makes the film haunting and thought-provoking. In the end, Grizzly Man isn't really about bears. It's about obsession, purpose, and the thin line between passion and madness. It asks uncomfortable questions. What drives someone to dedicate their life to do something so dangerous? What does it mean to respect the natural world without trying to control it? And maybe most hauntingly, how do we measure the value of a life consumed by obsession? Nearly 20 years after its release, the film still resonates. It lingers not because of shock value, but because of the ambiguity Herzog leaves us with. It's an elegy, a character study, and a mirror held up to our own complicated relationship with the wild. Okay, so to wrap this up with a few quick categories. Okay, here we go. So, overall rating, I give it 4.5 stars. Pop culture footprint, a landmark documentary. Herzog's narration and Treadwell's footage remain iconic touchstones in nonfiction filmmaking. Rewatchability, I give it 3 out of 5. It is unsettling and heavy, but rewarding. Does this film make you think? Absolutely. As I talked about, it will make you think about obsession, mortality, and nature's limits. Conversation starter, yes, I think very much. It should spark debate on devotion versus delusion. Does it hold up? Completely. If this came out today, it definitely ages well. It's still haunting and relevant. Where did I place it on this list? Like I've mentioned before, still starting off right here, but this is a perfect spot. I think this is definitely a documentary from this 21st century that is very memorable and definitely deserves to be on this list. So I want to thank you again for listening. Up next, we're leaving the wilderness of Alaska for the edge of space with Alfonso Cuarón's Gravity. So until next time, keep watching, stay curious, and trust the list. at least for now.